one thing I wanted to share about safe havens in general are that safe havens aren't like the name itself isn't like a proprietary Presbyterian night shelter safe haven. So safe havens are residential homes that are respites for individuals that are homeless and suffering from severe mental illness. They were developed in 1994 as a result of an amendment from the McKinney-Vento Act. So the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, is the federal, of course, a federal organization that created the legislation that developed safe havens in general. So these are present across the country. There are fewer now than there were before. There are no newly funded safe havens anywhere across the country. One of the unique things about Presbyterian Night Shelter's safe haven is that we were the first in the nation that was constructed from the ground up. Most safe havens are part of a larger structure, a hospital, a group home, something like that, that type of thing. But we were built from the ground up as a safe haven. So, and that happened in 1999. And when we built ours, we really had, and it's called the Mimi Fitzgerald Safe Haven. So the Mimi Hunter Fitzgerald, and she was a social worker who was active in our community for a really long time. And she developed symptoms of severe mental illness kind of later in life. So she had been a master's level social worker for a really long time, had been very active in our community, and became homeless as a result of the severity of her mental illness, and was her life was taken right back here towards the railroad tracks. So, and what was really kind of cool when we dedicated the building, we have a plaque in our building. Her family came in about what was last year. They came in and saw the plaque, and so it was kind of neat because I actually got to meet him. So this building really is a legacy to her, and we keep her in mind when we look at the individuals that we serve. So this safe haven is all safe havens are geared toward individuals who are the most severely mentally ill in our community. They are falling through the cracks. McKinney-Vento in general is for individuals who fall through the cracks in the school systems and the just kind of all over the place. But this one is for people who fall through the cracks in our homeless system. So they have failed in community mental health resources. They have failed within our own homeless systems. They've generally been removed from other homeless programs or kicked out of our homeless, and that includes our own. So that includes our own Travis Center, or our own Women's Loud Shoots building. So we serve individuals who are experiencing the extremes of severe mental illness. So they have to fall into some pretty specific categories. So bipolar disorder with psychotic features, severe depression with psychotic features, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder. They also have to be chronically homeless. So they have to have been homeless for over a year, or meet the episodic chronicity. So they have to, over the last 3 years, have 4 episodes of homelessness. We do serve 20 people. I think that that was mentioned. So we're small by design, and that's HUD's criteria, so that we can be very individualized in the way that we serve people. We have no barrier as far as identification. We don't have any barrier as far as citizenship. We, again, maintaining the housing first model and maintaining the low barrier shelter model. we have private rooms. So individuals that are served in this part of the shelter have private rooms. They do have a key and a lock to their room, which really assists us with providing safety right off the bat, and a private place to calm their mind, to calm their spirit, so that we can begin to engage them in those higher functioning types of asks. When we're asking them to do different things, from shower all the way up to take meds to housing. So we start with housing first, and then we move on to the things that are a little riskier for them. We provide 24-hour staff, of course, just like everyone else. We have a program manager. We are the only program in Presbyterian Night Shelter that employs a full-time mental health peer. So we do have a peer on site that assists with anything. So anything from a pair of shoes to showing an individual how to take a bus somewhere, or if they're not capable of taking a bus, provide transportation to something. We have kind of enhanced training for our staff, so everybody goes through mental health first aid training. They all go through. I know all of our staff, that's kind of the goal for everybody, but we do an additional mental health training for our staff. Trying to think of, there's so much.
Hey, Gina, Angela had a question. Can they participate if they have a criminal background?
Oh, of course, absolutely. There are no barriers as far as Safe Haven is concerned. And those are probably going to be one of the aspects of what keeps people from engaging in some of the other community services, whether that be shelter, mental health, and just the severity of their mental illness, and lack of organizational skills keeps them from, a lot of individuals, from being able to follow up with appointments and things like that. So there's a lot of encouragement and coaching. So as far as the vast majority of our guests right now have some type of criminal background. So most of them do, whether that be day services or guests. So we can, and that's to mention that we do have the 20 on site, and then we can serve up to 7 in day services. So day services is Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I know that Michael mentioned that, day with the day or the shelter, the overnight shelter, individuals have to leave at 7 a.m. So we provide kind of a gap service for people that do have mental illness and who are referred by the case managers, to be able to have a place where we can provide some of the supportive services for the shelter staff through day services for individuals who do have some of those same symptoms. And at 7 a.m. they can come over, they can engage in our programming and provide the same level of or receive the same level of support here that our guests receive, but we can only serve 7 at a time because it's pretty intense. So and they don't have to be part of any programming or any they don't have to take medications to be here. They don't have to take they don't have to go to MHMR. They don't have to go to JPS Behavioral Health. They don't have to do any of those things to be part of our program. So it relieves them of all of the traditional barriers and challenges, all the requirements that have kept them kind of stuck in a lot of ways. So trying to think of all of the other, there's we've had a lot of recently, especially in the last year, we've had a lot of success out of day services and our Safe Haven program, housing individuals who have been here for years and years and years. There isn't a time frame for Safe Haven, and that's intentional by HUD. So an individual, once they've met the eligibility criteria for admission, can be here as long as it takes. to get them into housing. So we have an individual who's been here for 9 years. We housed two this last year that had been here 5 and 6 years. So there's no length of stay, time frame that they're restricted to. So we just kind of meet them where they are when they come in, go from there, and just work with them through whatever barriers that they've experienced. And always, being part of Presbyterian Night Shelter, always the goal is housing. I'm going to forward this real quick because I think it's actually Social Security for one of my, I'm going to forward that to the peer. Don't want to miss that call. But our goal is always independent housing, because 90% of the time, even the most severely mentally ill, when they've been able to obtain stability, safety, security, are able to maintain their own housing as well with adequate supports in place. And we have just the kind of, we're so blessed in Tarrant County, especially in Fort Worth, to have just this huge permanent supportive housing system that we can move people into permanent supportive housing placements that have those supports in place, so that we can get even the most severely mentally ill into really, really positive placements, so that long term they're able to maintain them. So our goal is housing out of this program, just like it is anywhere else in Presbyterian Night Shelter. And we were able to move some of our most difficult to house out. So we were super excited this last year. We almost turned over 40% of our population this last year between day services, and so we were excited.
Yeah, that I want to chime in, because that's one of the things that I like to talk about when sharing about Safe Haven, is the success in the program. When you look at it, like you said, Gina, almost 40% of the people served in between the program itself and then day services have been able to exit into housing. That's an incredible number. So, kudos to you and your team over there. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and it's just it really is just a what I like to point out. It really just blows all of those preconceived notions and those ideas we have about what homeless and mental illness is, and just out of the water. Given opportunities, given the right encouragement, and when you remove barriers, simple things, ID, Social Security card, get their income back, being talked to like a person, being treated like a worker, like a person, and just given a place to come every day where everything is kind of just like True Workplace gives individuals a place, a centralized location where one person is working on everything for individuals. It's a game changer for people, and we've seen it over and over and over again. And it's my belief is that people rise to level of expectation. It's always been my belief, and we've seen it. There have been some exceptions, but maybe give them time. I feel like giving them enough time, and even those exceptions will be the rule. After long enough. So it's not really us. We just kind of guide.
That's great. Thanks.